Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the Johnsons Live. This is our weekly nerd chat or horror chat, and this is our fifth episode. I am joined once again by my good friend and co-host Eugene Johnson. How are you, buddy? And you doing good?
Doing pretty good. Sorry about last week not being able to. I was kind of, my stomach, been having a lot of stomach problems. Plus, here recently, a few days ago, my aunt recently passed away. So,
Sorry to hear about that.
thank you, James. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, she was a cancer survivor, but unfortunately, it come back on her. So, and this time, it took her away from us. But
Were you
other
you were pretty close, were you?
well, she was a good aunt. Unfortunately, see, I live in Kentucky and she lived in the state of Louisiana.
Okay.
And but I mean, yeah, I'd still see her every once in a while. But yeah, I got a great memory of me and her when I was younger, and we made homemade candy together. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that'll always stick with me. But yeah,
Memories are always good though. You'll carry on good memories like that. So
yep. So, but unfortunately, that happened, and of course, a few days before that, my stomach had been bothering me. So, but now I'm doing pretty good.
yeah. So you had a certain package come from. You want to say about that?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I have been waiting 3 weeks for this certain box, and well, yeah, and I will tell you straight up that Tuesday I will also be doing a special unboxing. So anybody that wants to check that out, be sure and tune into my channel Monday afternoon because I'll be doing an update and I'll unboxing. So
I should also say, guys, that I always forget to say this bit at the beginning for some reason. Mortician Man 24's channel link will be in the description of the video if you're watching on my channel or on the Google Plus page. So be sure to click the link and subscribe to Eugene's channel because he's got a lot of stuff over there to check out and a lot of pretty cool videos. So
yeah, and speaking of which, but Tuesday my girlfriend made sure that well, I'll go ahead and say it. It's a certain movie that's a special collector's edition. So I've been waiting for it since January. So she made sure to order it so it will be here on Tuesday when its initial release date. Right now, you can purchase it on Amazon as a pre-order, so it will
oh,
be
I
here.
think I know the one you mean.
Yep, and it will be here on Tuesday, and I will definitely be doing an unpackaging of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to this big, huge box I received yesterday, and really excited about this one. I will go ahead and tell everybody that what's in this box completes my Jason Part 6 costume. I'll
So
just let
you'll be absolutely like Jason when you go to your next convention.
Yes, and that convention will be in next to Syracuse, New York in September. So, but yeah, that's the one thing that I do enjoy is that I have a really good sharp knife to open packages with. So, so I can get them open and okay, here we go. Oh wow.
You look pretty excited now, as soon as you just saw it.
Well, wait till you see this. I mean, oh,
Yeah.
hang on a second. Let me get it prepared first. This is fantastic. But yeah, but see,
Yeah, that's good.
yep, this is the Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason hood, which the reason they call it a hood is because it has the face removed, of course. And I'll show you why it's got the face removed in a second. But I mean, check out the detail on this thing.
Is it made of silicone or like latex?
It's made of latex. It's a latex, and it's a real good quality latex. That's the thing that you got to be careful for when you buy your your stuff off an individual, because they don't make these officially licensed, because if they did, they would get sued.
Hmm.
Because there's not been a huge production company come up and say, we're going to make a, Jason hood where everybody can buy one out of the store. Well, they did, but it's really, really crappy. You can get it off Amazon for like 40, 50 bucks, and it's not worth, I'm going to say, if anybody's looking for one, I highly suggest you don't get it, because in my opinion, it's not even worth $10, and they want
This
40.
looks really like movie accurate though. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, this one was actually made by a guy out of his garage. His name's Paul, and he runs a website called Dark Side Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, and this one it's kind of expensive, but I mean, the latex, as you can see, is very thick. So that's always a good thing, to make sure that it's very thick so it won't rip. And I mean, of course, it's been specially made for me to fit. So,
So how do you like send your details off of your head size and stuff?
well, I told him that basically I had a pretty, regular medium sized build. So, I told him I had a medium sized head, which I've got another mask on my table up there, which is a scarecrow mask, and that said medium, and it fits perfect. So I told him it was medium sized. So he made the hood, this part, medium sized, and he made the shoulders a bit bigger, where I said, I was kind of large and bulky. So he specified it and sent it out.
The paintwork and all the detail on it looks just great. It looks
Yeah. But here's the main test. Okay, but this is the reason it's got the face cut out, because you'll be sitting here. I mean, you'll be at a convention. You're not going to go with just the face cut out. So here's the main test. Let's see how it looks. So, there we go.
Oh yeah, I can tell already.
Yeah, there we go.
You are gonna look just like the real thing in that.
Yep, and I mean, as you can see, yeah, this looks perfect.
I wonder why in the movie it's so decayed and like the features are all over the place on him.
Yeah, well, in reality, when Jason was a child, the way the story goes is he's a mongoloid, which is actual medical condition where the person who's born's features is kind of messed up.
Yeah.
So he was made fun of constantly, over his features and stuff like that. So, the next thing that when he starts, when he rises from the dead, in part 3, well, in part 2, he put a sack over his head.
Yeah, I think I remember that bit.
And then in part 3 was the introduction of course, the iconic hockey mask.
Yeah.
And so, the reason that he wears a mask was because he was made fun of as a child. So, he still carried that on with him, even, he's dead and, he's a killing machine and all that. He still is self-conscious about his face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool because the way that the hockey mask looks, it's just that shapeless form, and, just, a big guy with a machete or a axe or something like that coming for you, it just terrifies you. So, that's.
Have you got like a prop machete or anything?
I don't have a prop machete at the moment. I do have a real one. But unfortunately, I can't take that to a convention because they'd be like, sir, that looks real. They'd be like, sir, that looks a little too real. We can't let you in the convention. But yeah, well,
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
I mean, well, the prop machetes, I mean, you can go on Amazon or eBay, for instance, and buy a real machete for like 10, 12 bucks when the prop ones are around 150.
Mm.
So, I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. And you'll
It's a
have to,
shame you can't take your own there. I mean,
yeah, I know that would have been pretty cool if I, which I'm sure if I get a real machete and dull it down to where there's no edge to it and it's not sharp at all, I'm sure they'd let me in because a friend of mine, he dresses as Michael Myers at every convention that he goes to, and it's a real metal knife. It's just not sharp and there's no tip to it. So
yeah.
he just bloodies it up and walks around with it like that. And, everybody's like, "Well, that's cool."
I can't
So
remember, but is there a Jason movie that actually takes the hockey mask off?
yes, as a matter of fact, there's a few where they actually expose his face. The first one that his face was exposed, well, where you see his face completely, was in part three.
Okay.
And then because the character in the movie had been tormented by him years earlier while she was there in the woods, so yeah, they got, she was tormented by him and she had fear of him, and then she somehow she winds up hanging him from a barn.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, he's trying to take the rope off his neck, and while he takes the rope off, his mask comes up, and she recognizes it's Jason. So
Yeah.
that was the first time that his face was revealed. The second time was in part four, which Corey Feldman actually took the machete and hit his side of his face with the machete, and it cut the straps of his mask, and his mask flew off. And there he stood. Then, of course, according to the movie, Corey Feldman killed him, and that was actually going to be the end of the Friday the 13th franchise right there. But there was people, from everywhere going, "We missed Jason, we missed Jason." And yeah, a lot of people will probably get mad at me for saying this, but then the next round come a very cheaply made dumb piece of garbage that come out, which was called Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning,
Yeah.
which had nothing to do with Jason. It wasn't Jason. Spoilers. It was not Jason doing the killing. It was an imposter Jason, which made no sense whatsoever. They made the character of Tommy like a Michael Myers type character.
Yeah.
So they made the character of Tommy that character, but then uh, his face was not shown in that one. The next time you see his face was in the graveyard for part 6. So, he gets up and puts the hockey mask on. That's the last time you see his face. The next time you see his face is in part 7, of course, which is behind me. Uh, that one had Kane Hodder and another girl, and I forgot, Lar Park Lincoln's her name, and she was the one that had the psychic ability.
Mhm.
So she
Yeah, that's
actually,
the one I like. I think that's the
yes,
telekinesis, the girl has telekinesis.
yes, the telekinesis. She had telekinesis, and she actually used her powers to squeeze the mask onto his face, and of course, using that much pressure, the mask ripped completely in two.
Yeah.
And then you seen his face then you seen his face in part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, when he's down in the sewer fixing to die again. They show his face because one of the characters actually throws what do you call it, toxic waste onto his mask, and it starts melting the mask in his face underneath, so he rips the mask off. And then that's the last time you see his face until the actual remake.
Yeah. What do you think of the remake?
I thought they did okay on the remake. It's just that, you know I don't understand why they're making Michael Myers to be 7 feet tall and Jason to be 7 feet tall and all that stuff now, because you know Jason and Michael Myers supposed to be regular guys. That's what made them creepy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, granted, yeah, Jason is like 6'2" or 3, and Michael Myers is like 6'2". So I mean, you know, they're supposed to be regular guys. You know, and I mean, this like you know, everybody was like, you should, you should play the remake Jason. I'm not 7 feet tall. I might be, you know, 6'2", 6'1", something like that. But with boots on, I'm about 6'3", 6'4".
Hmm.
So I mean, you know, and I'm the same height as Kane Hodder that played in 7, 8, and 9. So and 10.
Hmm. Do you like the Jason Takes Manhattan movie?
I thought that it was a lot better than Part 5. It's not one of my favorites by far because my two actual favorites is Part 6 and Part 7.
Hmm.
Because I loved the fact that the girl had telekinesis and could fight him, you know, toe to toe. Because you never seen that before in a Jason film. Because you know Jason was always the dominant character. That you know, if you saw him in the woods, you know it didn't matter if he was a bodybuilder or a wrestler or whatever, he would kill you.
Yeah.
So I mean, and they finally sit there and understood that. So you know what? Who could possibly stand toe to toe with Jason in a fight? And they went a person with telekinesis. Makes perfect sense. You know, which I always thought what that film reminds me of is what it should have been called is Jason versus Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean the two characters were, you know, the character of Tina, I think's her name, and you know they had so much in common with, you know, with Carrie. So I was like, yeah, that's what they should have called it. They should have did a Jason versus Carrie movie.
Yeah. And then actually that would have went on to eventually Freddy versus Jason.
Yep. Which, you know, I loved Freddy versus Jason. The only thing I didn't like about it, which a lot of people would disagree, but I didn't like the guy that played Jason.
Was that? Who was that?
That was his name was actually Ken Kazinger, and
Oh,
he
isn't that the guy that did the makeups, the makeup studio?
no, actually Ken Kazinger has been a Canadian stuntman for the past 40 years.
Okay.
And the funny thing is that if you got the film, you'll have to go back and rewatch it. But in Jason Takes Manhattan, Ken Kazinger is actually in that movie
Hmm.
with Kane Hodder. You know, Kane Hodder being Jason. You know, Kane Hodder walks into the character Jason walks into a local New York diner. Well, it's supposed to be New York, but it's actually Canada. There was only like 15 minutes shot of New York. So,
Really?
yeah, so they're in Canada shooting to make it look like they're in New York. And, you know, Jason walks into this diner, and this big, huge guy comes out from behind the counter and grabs a hold of Jason. And of course, Jason throws him up against the wall. Well, the person that did that stunt, excuse me here, my cat is going nuts. He does that every time I get on line.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time. But so anyway, where was I? The guy that did the stunt is actually Ken Kazinger, and nobody knew, you know, that he would be, you know, the next Jason, but he was, you know,
That's
because
good. I
he
thought Kate Kazinger was the guy in KMBFX.
yes, that was actually Howard Kurtzman you're thinking of.
Do
Let's see, it's
they
Kurtzman.
still do effects in movies?
Yeah, yeah, he does special effects. It's Howard. Well, no, it's Howard Berger, John Kurtzman, and Greg Nicotero. I think.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that's the three lineup. That's why they call it KNB. You know, because you got uh, Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger. And there's
They've
three.
done some really good effects in movies, haven't they, over the years?
Yes, they do. And they, as a matter of fact, after Tom Savini did the original 1978 Dawn of the Dead, if you watch Day of the Dead in the 80s, um, Howard Kurt, you know, K and B Effects did those special effects.
Do you do the original night?
The remake of Night of the Living Dead,
Yeah,
yeah, they had yeah, with Tom Savini's blessing, they did the makeup in that.
Dawn of the Dead as well. About that one.
Yeah, but well, the remake of Dawn of the Dead, I think so. I'm pretty sure they did.
Mhm.
But the original was, by far was Savini,
Yeah.
the original, and of course Tom Savini also did Friday the 13th Part 4, the original Friday the 13th. There's been a bunch of movies that he's worked with on their makeup.
Have you read any of the IDW comic books?
No, I haven't actually. I've read a ton of comic books. Some of them, of course, being independent studios and stuff like that. But no, I've never read any IDW comic books before.
Because years ago, I mean, when I was a lot younger,
Yeah.
I uh, I had a big collection of the real Ghostbuster Marvel comics
Mm-hmm.
based on the old cartoons, and I wish I never got rid of them, but I somehow did along the line. But these ones by IDW, the one I had come the other day,
Yeah.
this is based on like I guess you got the real Ghostbusters from the cartoon series,
Mm-hmm.
and a set of the four Ghostbusters based on the movie versions.
Yeah.
I like how they look though as well. That looks kind of funny, like a cartoony
Yeah.
version of the movie characters. Looks kind of funny that. But I like how they team up with the real Ghostbusters from the cartoon. And I'm up to yeah, yeah. I'm up to this part now, part 3,
Mm-hmm.
or chapter 3, or part was. It's like 4 like little graphic novels inside here. So I've read 2 of them already. So I'm up to uh, comic 3.
Yeah.
It's getting quite good.
Yeah. It's
Um,
that's one of my favorite things to do is when I'm not reading a novel, I'll always check out a graphic novel, which is basically what those are called. And and it's a lot easier and fun to do because not only do you got a picture of the character and everything like that. So yeah, I really love the comic books and stuff because
it's really nice and thick as well. You've got all the parts in it as well. So that's pretty cool.
it's but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something else that I actually wound up getting this past week. They're not graphic novels, but I think there'll be good stories.
Mhm.
Is this is called Star Wars Death
Oh
Troopers,
yeah.
which this particular
All
book
right.
it's written by Joe Scriber, and it's basically Star Wars zombies. So yeah, the Star Wars zombies, like the stormtroopers and everything like that, are basically turned into zombies by this disease. And so yeah, you get the Star Wars characters going around eating people. This is the first one.
That would
And
be cool if it was like in a movie as well. That sort of part.
yes,
In
wish
like
there
a
was.
real Star Wars film. But I think, like you said on one of the on our email accounts, when we started typing,
Yeah.
I think you said something about that. That wouldn't work because of Disney taking over the movie. So
Yes, and so I mean, and here's the second novel in the series. This was called Red Harvest.
yeah.
So, and I mean, it's the same principle, disease, and the Star Wars characters coming as zombies. And yeah, like I was saying the other day, it'll never happen because of where Disney took it over, and Disney putting their name, because Disney owns a lot of companies. They used to own Polygram Pictures and another uh, another company that actually produced R-rated movies. Disney owned it, but they still went for with that name, so they wouldn't, so nobody knew Disney was associated with it, making rated R movies.
Hmm.
So But now that they actually took Disney and slapped it across the, top of Star Wars, presented by Disney, there'll never be any kind of, huge violence or anything. And I'm fixing to have to get my cat and throw him somewhere. But anyway, they'll never have any violence or any kind of type of that stuff anymore in any of the Star Wars movies, because now it's, associated more with kids than adults. Even though, the Star Wars movies, they were out a long time when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, 90% of the people that seen Star Wars was, excuse me, 90% of the people that seen Star Wars were grown people,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's about a terrible shame that I mean, it's like when Disney takes over, was it that George Lucas didn't want to do it anymore, or just hand on to a different director that did?
Well, I think George Lucas wanted to do more. It's just, I think Disney offered him, a check with probably 30 zeros at the end of it, which, any normal person, if they see that much amount of money that want to buy the rights to it,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to sell the rights, for the
Yeah.
right price. So I think that he just, was tired of doing it, because he did it at that time for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, he was still, responsible for the Star Wars movies, like he'd be a producer or whatever. But A New Hope was actually written, produced, and directed by George Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, the rest of them, the new directors came in, and George Lucas liked the idea of what they had and everything, so he allowed them to direct it, and he just produced it and worked behind the scenes. And that's how Lucasfilms were made. And of course, Lucasfilms was one of the biggest film franchises there was, because Lucasfilm was the reason that Howard the Duck was made. Lucasfilms.
I love that. I got it on DVD upstairs.
Yep, but I've actually got it too. So yeah,
Yeah.
Howard the Duck was made by, in association with Lucasfilms. The movie Willow, I don't know if you, yeah, the movie
No,
Willow.
I've heard of the movie, but I've never seen it. So
It's a great movie, awesome movie, and best I remember, I think The Labyrinth is also associated with Lucasfilms, but Lucasfilms might have produced it or whatever. But Jim Henson from the Muppets, of course, back in the old days, actually made all the puppets and stuff for the movie. And also, Jim Henson's responsible for Yoda.
all right, yeah.
Yep. Yep. So that was how that was all came to fruition. So
So as I say, it's a shame about the Disney not being able to do R-rated stuff. I just think a movie with zombies in, stormtroopers. I think that'd be pretty cool, but because it's Disney, it wouldn't be done.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've had long talks with a bunch of my friends and stuff back in my haunted house days, when we were all sitting there waiting to go home. And we were all talking. We were sitting there talking about how, just once we wanted a actual R-rated Star Wars. There didn't have to be nudity or anything in it, but I mean, actually seeing, Darth Vader cut somebody in half with a lightsaber, or shooting people with lasers, or
Yeah.
say Han Solo gets mad or anything like that, and he starts cussing. That's a hell of an action movie. You think about it. You know.
Out of all the um, 7 Star Wars, what one would you say was the most enjoyable or favorite to you?
For me, and it always will be, is Return of the Jedi.
And of the original trilogy, that would be mine as well.
Yeah, because I mean, Return of the Jedi, it just had something to it. I mean, well, a lot of people that's not Star Wars fans won't have any idea what I'm talking about. But since you're a Star Wars fan and I'm a Star Wars fan, there was just something about Return of the Jedi that almost sucked you into the movie and almost made you feel like you were in the movie with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you were actually, you know, every time something would happen, you know, you was gasping, and I mean, at least that's how I was doing. I was right dead in the movie with them, you know, and I was like, you know, always and forever, my favorite will be Return of the Jedi. My favorite character is actually Darth Vader. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Because if you actually watch all the Star Wars, you know, the old trilogy, in the last movie, Darth Vader showed that he was a true, you know, Jedi.
Yeah.
Master, he was a master Jedi, you know, and then of course he went and joined, you know, the Sith and all this stuff, you know, and he was a member of the rebellion and everything like that. But at the end of it, you know, the Emperor was going to kill Luke, and the only person that could stop the Emperor, I mean, not even Darth Maul or anybody like that could have stopped him. So it was Vader himself grabbed a hold of him and stopped the Emperor from killing Luke.
What about the stories how Vader became Vader, like the prequel movies?
Well, let's see. I think the first one was the Phantom Menace. The
Well,
Phantom Menace.
he was just a little boy in that movie.
Yep. The Phantom Menace was okay story wise, but there's one character that was just so annoying that I wanted to kill the character, and it's not even a real character.
Yeah.
And that character is Jar Jar Binks. I absolutely hate the character of Jar Jar Binks. Whoever wrote him in the movie needs their head examined. That had nothing, you know, because when that came out, it felt more to me when I was sitting there watching it. You know, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Jar Jar Binks comes on the screen. I'm like, what the hell is this? And, you know, you had all these grown men and women that were true Star Wars fans sitting there watching it. And they were like, okay, it's starting to feel like I'm watching a kiddie movie. You know, and that's what I think happened with the Phantom Menace. Why a lot of people don't like it
I
is
don't think
because
a lot of people understood what the thing said either. You know, like
no,
when,
I mean it's and it's like I made fun of him for 6 months after that movie come out because we'd be sitting there and I'd be like, "Oh, me so stupid," you know. So I mean that was but definitely. I mean, if you see the Phantom Menace and if you've never seen it before, beware of Jar Jar Binks because when you
I was
watch.
just going to say that. What would you do if Jar Jar Binks knocked at your door?
Like I told you before, I do have a real machete in the corner. So yeah, I would probably cut his head off and sell it on eBay.
You might go this and run away.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd grab a hold of his ears and tie him around his freaking neck and choke him with them. But I mean, it just. But I'll tell you, I'll go ahead and tell you, if you watch the Phantom Menace when Jar Jar Binks comes on the screen, you actually feel stupid. I'm not even joking. You actually sit there and you start questioning why you went and seen the movie in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
The second movie,
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, it flopped at the box office.
Did it?
Yes, that was the only Star Wars movie in history to ever flop at the box office. But
I didn't know that because I saw you know, the prequel trilogy in the cinema, but I didn't know it flopped.
yes, the Attack of the Clones from the prequel is actually it flopped at the box office. But in my opinion, that one and Revenge of the Sith are the two best ones that came out of the prequels.
I loved Revenge of the Sith. In fact, that's the only Star Wars that I own on DVD currently. because I just love the the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan at the end. Like
Mm-hmm.
just before just before you see Anakin in the suit, after he gets all burnt up and that.
Yeah.
I thought that was like good lead up to the Darth Vader we knew in the original Star Wars.
Yep. And well, see, that was a lot of it. Explained a lot about Darth Vader himself, because when he joined the rebellion, he blamed, Obi-Wan Kenobi and all those for making him that way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, he was one of the reasons that started turning him evil was, is he was like any person, he'd have to abide by these rules, and some of the rules of being a Jedi kind of pissed him off, you might say.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, so he turned, and then what fully made him go to the dark side was when he, was fully changed into Vader.
Yeah.
So
I also love the the choreography of the lightsaber fights.
mm-hmm.
Like how they can flip and do all this sort of stuff, and you like use these powers where they can, if they lost their sabers, they can like have it come back into their hands by the force and stuff. I thought it was quite good, all that stuff.
I absolutely love the choreography in the movies, and like I said, being a young kid, everybody, I didn't understand fully what Star Wars was about, and then as I got older, everybody was like, "Who's your favorite Star Wars character?" It's like Darth Vader. They were
Yeah.
like, "He's he's a member of the dark side." I was like, "I don't care. I love Darth Vader." Everybody else, my girlfriend, she's a huge Chewbacca fan. Which I actually got the honor to meet the original Chewbacca.
Yeah.
And I met him last year. And like I said, I'm about 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around through there. And the man was sitting down, and I barely come to above his head. And he was sitting down. So I mean, yeah, he's like 7'4". So I mean, yeah, he's actually Englishman. His name's Peter Mayhew.
I don't think I've heard of him, but okay, cool.
He's actually a Englishman who's he played in all of the, of course, the old trilogy films.
Yeah.
He played Chewbacca in every one of them, and I even think he made a special appearance in Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
Because
how about the new one that come out, The Force Awakens?
Believe it or not, I actually haven't seen that one yet. I'm waiting till it comes down kind of in price on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then if it comes down in price, I might pick it up. I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, well it's definitely worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it." And then I got other people saying, "Disney picked it up. They're trying to, market it more for kids." And I'm like, well,
if lightsabers existed, what would you do with one?
if lightsabers existed, let's put it this way. When the next movie I worked on, it'd be going all my way. Because if somebody showed up and was like, "Oh yeah, well you're gonna leave your contacts in for 15 hours longer," all I do is pull it out, press a button, and go, "What?"
I like that one when you said that you had to be in costume for like all those hours, and that would be good.
Yes, I mean, because plus being in costume and having contact lenses. Okay, when you first, have you ever wore them?
Contacts, no.
Well, they're not bad when you first put them in. You can't. Sometimes you can't even tell they're in. But the what do you call it? The costume contacts. They're a little bit thicker than regular contacts that you can put in. Let's say prescriptions.
So, sorry, just to say something a minute. Does when you put it in? I mean, does the color of your vision change? Like change color?
Somewhat. Let's see. Can I explain it? Okay. I actually have a pair. I've got two pairs of contacts. One pair is the ones that I used in the movie, which are they're red, yellow, and black, and they got a slit in the middle that looks like a snake eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's almost kind of like cat-like werewolf type deal, you
Uh-huh.
know. So they got a slit in the middle of them. It looks like my eye slit, you know, where my pupil is.
Yeah. Oh,
So
so like when you see out of it, it kind of looks normal.
yeah, it looks because you put the contact lens on. Yeah, you can have a little bit of tunnel vision where it looks kind of everything looks red, blurry a little bit. But I mean, when you put it in and if you get them straight, really good and straight, you can see normal.
Yeah.
And so,
Any
yeah,
any news on the finishing of the project?
the project will be finished in the next couple of months.
Uh-huh.
Maybe might be a little bit longer right now. I'm not real sure because my friend Dominic, who's was of course, you know, directed it. Well, had a big hand in directing it, and you know, me and him both wrote it, came up with the idea.
Do you all
He,
talk about it like when you're about to do more work on it and stuff?
yeah,
Or
as a matter of fact, he called me last night and said that he was reviewing some of the footage that was shot and he's fixing to send it off to the main director to get it edited and everything like that. But then, unfortunately, he's had to move, so he's making a pretty big move. He's moving from New Jersey to New York, on the way other side of New York.
Mhm.
So it's about a 6 hour drive for him to the place he's moving. So unfortunately, he's had to move, so we may have been knocked back a little bit production wise. But like I said, there's only one more scene to shoot, and after we get that done, it'll be out. So, I mean, if anybody's watching or watches this later, I just want to let everybody know who's interested in the movie. It will be out very, very soon. Just give us some time to have, you know, Mr. Kaufman and everybody get ready for the shoot because we don't really want to, you know, rush Lloyd Kaufman into shooting the part that he's shooting because he's doing it for free for us.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, he did that as basically, yeah, you know, I'll help you guys out, which is the way Lloyd Kaufman is. You know,
You know how much more you've got left to film?
one more scene, and that's the scene at Trauma Studios. There might be two or three scenes, you know, shot that day. But
Yeah.
after those two or three scenes are shot in that day, the movie will be completed.
And then all the editing got to take place. Is there like any cover designs set up for like the
Yeah,
DVD
yeah.
and stuff?
It will be edited and sent to California because we got a guy in California and another local. Uh, well, she's not too local, but you know she found out about Running Away from the Unknown and got a hold of the director, and I guess she's also going to put some of her music into it.
Mhm.
And then the rest of it's going to be put on by an actual guy in California that does music professionally for movies. And we're going to get the music set to it
Mhm.
and get it put on DVD and Blu-ray, hopefully. Then it'll be released in theaters. Then the movie will actually come out on DVD and Blu-ray. Then goes the long process of going to conventions.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, which I almost guarantee after the movie comes out, and of course, you know, people find out that a lot of trauma people, you know, people from trauma are going to be in it. There's a huge fan following of trauma movies. So I'm sure after they find out, you know, that Skippy, the boy, gets his head crushed in Toxic Avenger Part 1, you know, as soon as they find out, oh, he's made a movie, well, you know, now he's putting on a convention. I guarantee you, you know, as soon as Dom puts on the next convention, I'll be there as a
Has
guest.
this been your first proper movie? Have you had anybody else approach you for like future product projects?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. This is my actual first official movie. Um, I've had a couple people offer me wanting me to do a fan film,
A
which
what?
a fan film, which is
Okay.
basically a fan, which film made by fans
Yeah.
that they put on YouTube that is basically either Jason, Michael Myers, Ghostface from Scream, or any of that. They decide to make a movie with that character and their story. You know what I'm talking about? They
Yeah.
say you write a story that involves Jason.
I think I've seen many like fan film of Ghostbusters on certain
Yeah,
channels. So yeah, that'd be,
yeah,
but with the horror characters as well. That was kind of cool.
yeah. So they were, there's been tons and tons of people approach me wanting to do a fan film of me either being Jason or Leatherface. And, I've always been like, well, what's the point? And then I sit there and start to think, maybe I'll do one in the future just for, the fun of it. Because you never know, there could be a director, watching, going home, going on YouTube and watching these things, and if,
I think I remember watching one a while ago. Now it was called Ghostbusters versus Freddy Krueger.
yeah, but I mean, there's tons of them. There's even a fan film out right now. It's on YouTube. You can check it out later if you want to. It's Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from the Evil Dead. So I mean, Bruce Campbell, they actually made that into a story and they've got it on YouTube as a fan film. So, and to be honest with you, it's not really badly done.
Yeah.
So I mean, but yeah, I've gotten tons of people approach me. You'd make a great Jason in our fan film, or you'd make a great Leatherface. So I got, I might do it like I said one day for fun,
How
but
about TV programs?
a TV, I'd love to do TV if I was ever approached to do TV, because this is coming from two actual big actors that's been in my favorite movies. Like I said, C.J. Graham played Jason in Friday the 13th, Part 6, and Kane Hodder played Jason in Part 7, 8, 9, and Jason X.
Yeah.
And so they both looked at me in my running away from the unknown makeup because they were at a convention in Virginia when we was actually shooting the movie. So, of course, I had to be in makeup that day, and we were waiting on Dominic to get done signing his autographs. So I was up, upstairs walking around, and C.J. Graham and Kane Hodder both looked at me and said, "You'd make an excellent bad guy in a movie." I said, "That's what I'm doing right now." So, I was like, he said, you don't even need a mask. He said, just your facial features when you look, if you look mean or mad, so they was like, you look great. So I was like, well, thanks. So,
Was that a
and
compliment, was it?
yes, I was like, well, I was like, thank you. Coming from Kane Hodder and C.J. Graham, both, that was like, that was the ultimate compliment.
Well, they say that when you're mad, that's a compliment because you could use that in your movie.
Yeah, that was so. I mean, and that's something else that I would love to do if I ever got a chance. I'd love to work with Kane, Kane Hodder in a movie.
I think
And
there's going to be a special feature in the movie because I have to see how your reaction was when you went to, when you was waiting all these hours when you were putting the guy across the parking lot.
yeah, well, I mean, it's like if there's a commentary, I'll tell it about it, But I mean, yeah, it was rough. I mean, because like I said, I'd gotten up at around 6 o'clock that morning, and my girlfriend got up. Then Dominic got up. And of course, as soon as Dominic got up, he had to run outside and get into the charter van to take him to the convention because that's what they do. Is
Yeah.
they'll have a driver, have a big, huge Econoline van there to take the celebrities from the hotel to the convention and then back.
Mhm.
So we were at the hotel, and I was there. She, my girlfriend was putting the makeup and stuff on me. She's making the ridges in my face darker and adding shadows and all this stuff. And then I put the contact lenses in. get the costume on and everything like that. Then we head to the convention, and we're there from like 8:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock that night, which I'm already.
Sorry, I was there. We seem to saw the old clips on the website you sent me.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's one of the teaser trailers that's out. So yeah, if any of you guys want to check it out, it's www.runningawayfromtheunknown.com. The website is up, which is officially up. You can go check out the teaser trailer. The website still needs some work, but I'm promising we will have more stuff and everything when we get it finished.
Did you make a website?
Have I ever made a website before?
I mean, did you make the website for the film?
I actually didn't make the website, because I made websites in the past before, but I just I didn't even know they were making a website for the movie until one day I'm sitting here and my phone makes a notification tone, and I look and I'm like, well, I got a message from Dominic, so I slide it over and I check it out, and runningawayfromtheunknown.com. I was like, oh wow. So then of course I checked it out, and as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, this is great, I got to send it to James.
And that's when I saw it. Yeah.
Yep. So I was like, yeah. So I mean, but the main thing is, I mean, yes, it's a little independent film, but it's got its own website now. And I mean, if everybody knew how much hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and how much you put your heart into these things, it's a lot of hard work.
Is there a lot of gore in it?
No, actually, there's not no gore in it. When I first wrote the script, I had wall to wall gore. Because Dominic basically, which hardly ever happens. He sat there. He said, "Since you thought up of the character," he said, "you can have that character. You design him how you want it. You decide what he wears, what he does, and all that." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "You got freedom of the character. Whatever you want to do, how you want him to dress. If he comes in with a mohawk and tattoos all over him, we'll still take it." So I was like, no, I'm not going to do nothing that extreme. So I started writing the script, and I had the character of the unknown, my girlfriend Tammy. I actually had a scene with her written out where I grab a hold of her, and I wanted to do a nod to Dominic being back in the Toxic Avenger years ago. So I was going to crush her head as the character of the unknown. But unfortunately, which I can understand. Dominic wanted it to be more of a thriller type, true life kind of, struggle between your inner demons and, reality.
Not much blood and stuff in it then.
Not much blood and stuff. I mean, yeah, I'd say there's violence and stuff like that in it because, like I said, in one of the scenes that they actually used, I'm pissed off really, really bad, and I'm dragging the guy through the parking lot as hard and as fast as I can. And I know
So,
but it's
however you thought of the movie, what type of is it like a horror comedy or?
it's more along the lines of a horror thriller.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I would kind of almost say that it was kind of a lot like the movie Shocker, the Wes Craven movie Shocker.
Yeah, okay.
That came out many years ago in the 80s. But I mean, basically the concept is that, his demons has manifested theirself into a human flesh being, which is me.
Mm-hmm.
And my job is to absolutely torment him and do all I can to try to get him to drink and do stuff to kill himself.
I think we should also say to the guys of it that on a future hangout, we're going to be both discussing or doing our review of slashers.
Yes, we will. Which
Because the one I'll be sending you with on Monday.
yes, and like I
And
said,
I think it'd be a cool thing. Say on that Friday, we can both watch it. You will and I will,
yep.
and then give our thoughts of the entire film on that Saturday, if you like.
I did, but just sounds like a great idea to me. And like I said, I was laying here that day, really, really sick, and I'm laying there, and then all of a sudden, my Hangouts notification popped. Come on my phone. I was like, and I, look at the message, and it was you going, "Yeah, I picked you up Slashers." I was like, "What? Really?" Like, oh man, that's great because not only did I watch Slashers, as a young kid, because I was about 16, 17 years old when I watched it. But and this is where it gets me. This is one reason I'm extremely happy that you picked that up for me, is because that was one of the last movies that I actually got to watch with my grandmother before she passed away.
Yeah, let's just see if I can make this safe a minute before I can just cover up something here.
Yeah,
There's
just
the package there, guys, to Eugene, which I'll be posting off on Monday this coming. So looking forward to the video that you're gonna be doing on packaging that, mate.
yeah. Well, I mean, Monday, as soon as you send it out, whenever it gets here, after it gets here, which it didn't take too long for Demons 2 to arrive.
Yeah,
So I
yeah, that
mean,
one didn't take long at all, did it? That one didn't.
no,
So
no. I mean, because what we had chatted what, like a week before.
yeah,
And yeah, well, then actually I had a car so I could get to the post office, the post, and get it sent out to you. But I mean, yeah, that's like, yeah, I mean, I go out to my mailbox one day, open it, and there's a package from London. Oh, it's from James. So I was like, yeah, well, there's my hard box. So, and I mean, but yeah, just like that one, as soon as it comes in, I will run up here and I'll turn my camera on, and I'll take the cat and put him in the bathroom so he don't.
put him in the bathroom.
Yeah, put him in the bathroom, shut the door, so he can sit in there until I get done with the video.
We're gonna do. You're gonna give him a bath.
But you know something? If he keeps bugging me and he doesn't see, that's the thing. It's weird. I think he's half possessed. But, yeah, I mean, no joke, because out of the whole week, he's laid on the end of my bed asleep,
Yeah.
and has come up to me and rubbed against me, wanting loving, and me petting him and everything like that. Then he finds out that I got a chat with you live on the internet. Is
Yeah.
when he sits there and the furball demon comes out of him.
Oh dear.
So
Is that what you think he's possessed by? The full ball demon?
yeah, the furball demon or something, because I'm pretty sure one day if he sits there and he looks at me and he starts puking pea soup, that's when I'm running. Or either that, or I'll get my Bible and a cross and go, "The power of kitty litter compels you." But yeah, I mean, he's been calm for the past 2 weeks that we had this chat last time.
Yeah.
The last time he was knocking the fan over that I have in my window on my head. And now this week he decides to just run as fast as he can and jump on the side of the bed and jump back off.
How old is the cat?
He's still a young one. He's still, I'd say he's probably, I gotta say he was born a little bit after October.
Okay, so he's still a kitten.
Yeah, he's still a kitten, and which I'm hoping every day that this crap grows out of him. But I mean, yeah, he's starting to calm down a little bit, but he's still got that wild side to him. So I'm trying to, teach him, you don't bite on my expensive charger cords.
Yeah.
You don't jump up on my shelf with all my movies. You stay down there. So what I did was I improvised a little bitty squirt bottle that I fill with water. So every time that he does something bad, he gets 2 squirts in the face. And every time that I squirt him in the face, he won't do it again. But he also looks at me and goes,
Like a vampire cat.
yeah. So, I mean, so yeah, it makes him mad. And he gets mad that I squirt him in the face. But he's finally starting to learn that if he does something bad, like biting on cords, he gets squirted. So,
I was thinking then for a second, in slashers, have any of those actors been in any other movies?
the main character, the girl, I forgot her name. I forgot the name of her character.
Jocelyn Cruder or something?
Yes, that's her name. That's her real name. I don't remember her character name. I think her character name was, I think it started with a J. I'm not real sure. But anyway, that's, and I'll tell the people who's watching or watches it later, that's our protagonist in slashers. That's the one that's supposed to be the good guy, you know, the good person. She's against the movie. I mean, she's against the game show, and she's trying to get it stopped because she thinks it's a bunch of, you know, just killing for pleasure, which it basically is. So anyway, she was in a old MTV series, which didn't stay on cable too long because I forgot what it was called. MTV. Oh yeah, it was called Undressed. And it was a really, 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 really weird show that used to come on. It'd only come on at nighttime, but still, there's kids watched it, you know, which is supposed to have been for like, you know, 18 and up to
Yeah.
watch it. And basically, what it was about was it was about you know, it was like a soap opera, but it was basically based on, you know, young college kids and teenagers' sexual lives.
Hmm.
So she was actually a star on that show for a little while, and then of course, you know, she got offered slashers, and from there I don't know what she's done.
Have you ever watched the Scream television series?
I have not actually seen that because I mean it's been so long since I actually had cable.
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean the last time I had cable was actually when me and you were doing our trades.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so that's been a while. So I mean, but yeah, I've wanted to watch it, but from the looks of the mask, I think that they did a better job on the mask in the TV show than in the movie
Yeah.
because it looks more creepy.
I mean, I did watch the first episode, and I have to say, from that one episode, I do enjoy the movies more.
Okay, yeah, which you know, I wish that they would actually put that mask in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, because the mask is creepy. And I mean, if that's the case, if you said you enjoyed the movies more, I think that'd probably be the best part of the show is probably the look of the mask
Hmm.
because they did do good on that.
What do you think of the fourth film, the fourth Scream?
It was, yeah, you know, because I mean, the thing is, it's kind of like the Saw movies. You know,
Yeah.
everybody complained and griped and griped and complained back. You know, the Mothers of America and all these people, all these organizations and stuff. They're making another Friday the 13th movie. It's disgusting. All it is useless blood, sex, and violence. And then, you know, then finally, you know, people were like, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're not going to give you any more Friday the 13th films for like 4 years in a row. Then we'll make one. Which,
Mhm.
you know, every horror fan was going, no. But now, you know, all of a sudden, the Saw movie comes out. I'm watching it. I've seen the original, and I'm like, it's okay. And then, you know, Saw 2. Like, all right. Saw 3. Like, really? Saw 4. Huh? Saw 5. What? Saw 6,
You know,
7, 8.
I heard that when somebody saw Saw 3, that
Yeah.
somebody had to leave the cinema because they were feeling sick.
which I do enjoy the kills in Saw. They're really cool. Some of the mentions they make, but still, I mean, it's like whooping, as being a country person, the old Southern term. It's like whipping a dead horse. You're on this horse. The horse is dead, but you're still whipping it. But you're not going nowhere.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're not going nowhere. I mean, so basically, I mean, when the guy that was responsible for making all these inventions and stuff, I forgot his name, but everybody calls him Buzzsaw. I mean, Jigsaw. But he had an actual name that they, told in one of the movies.
Yeah, the guy who played Jigsaw was pretty cool, wasn't he? Something Bell.
Yes, Tobin Bell.
Yeah.
Which I do have to admit, he's a great actor, really
Yeah.
cool actor. Yep. I've never met him. I've always wanted to, though, because, I mean, to tell you the truth, what made the Saw movies for me, I think that Tobin Bell just talks cool.
Yeah.
He just got a voice about him. Well, it's like the same thing with Darth Vader and James Earl Jones, you supplying the voice of Darth Vader. There is no other Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But I mean, but yeah, I'd like to meet Tobin Bell, but I mean, in my honest opinion, the Saw movies, yeah, I mean, and they're making another one this Halloween. So this is going to be like the 8th or 9th one.
I thought they did I thought the last one was the last one. Okay.
No, the from what I understand on Facebook and some of the production companies, and one of the main people that deal with nothing but horror news, bloodydisgusting.com, from what I understand, another Saw is in pre-production as we speak.
Because I thought that when Tobin Bell's character of Jigsaw died, because I think he had cancer.
Yes, he had.
After he died, they couldn't really do anymore. But I guess he had like mentors or something.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what really lost me with the Saw movies. Because I mean, when it was the character of Jigsaw doing it, I thought they were great movies because here was the ultimate serial killer. He was doing the serial killing and he couldn't be caught.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I go and rent the newest Saw movie and come to find out, well, the character Jigsaw has died. Well, who's doing the killing now?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
there was a character played by Judy Benz from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep.
I think she was in the 4th one. I'm not sure, I can't remember. I think it was. But she got caught by Jigsaw and they got to, escape the puzzles that he set.
Yeah, and I mean, well, that's basically the whole Saw movies are based on, morals and all that stuff. Like, they have them replay. Like if you done something bad to somebody in your past, Jigsaw will bring that up when you're sitting there with whatever trap he's got you in.
What would be the most weird trap you've ever seen in any of the Saw movies?
The one that I will always remember, I can't remember from what Saw it was from. I think it might have been from the 4th one or 5th one. I'm not real sure. But one of the detectives gets crushed to death.
Okay.
And that was really weird and inventive because I was sitting there, and a funny story, my ex-girlfriend I was with was actually eating spaghetti. And we were sitting there and we decided, we were going to watch Saw because it was going to premiere on like Showtime or one of the channels. And we're sitting there and we're watching it, and then she's eating a big bowl of spaghetti, and that part happens, blood starts squirting from corners and bones start popping out, and then she's just like, I've had enough. But yeah, that was.
I thought it was quite gruesome. I think it was the 3rd one. They went into one of these rooms, and there's this guy in this pit.
Yes.
This machinery started going on, and it had like pigs or like hanging down,
Yeah.
went through this machine, and it liquidized the meat, and it ended up on this guy that was down inside this thing,
Yep.
and all its innards was going on him, and I thought that was the quite gruesomest part of the one of the traps, but
Yeah, and another trap that I enjoyed, that's which is it was fairly newer to the series. I mean, because it was introduced, well, older, I should say, because it was introduced in either Saw or it's in Saw 2 or 3. The trap that was attached to their mouth, and
yeah, I know one.
if they didn't get the key out in time, they would like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was, and me and my mother actually watched that one. And the trap went up, and of course the guy was sitting there, and all you could see was like red pieces of stuff and hair. And I was like, "Hey, look, it's ground beef with a wig." Mom looks over at me and went, "You're disgusting. Shut up." I was like, "Well," I was like, "That's what it looks like." I said, "It looks like ground up sausage with ketchup." And she's like, "Oh God." Yeah, so yeah, she was.
Good.
Yes, and that's something else that I've seen that English people eat is an egg inside of a like sausage, and it's baked. What is that called? Because I've seen people eat it, and I was like,
Actually,
that's
I made one of them,
really
and they're called Scotch eggs.
okay. All right, so yeah, all right, but yeah, I mean, I've seen
Do you want to know
because
how you make it?
how do you make it?
Okay, you've got to boil an egg first, and then take the shell off it.
Yeah,
Wrap sausage meat around it.
okay,
Then dip the sausage meat into like whipped egg, egg white or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Dip it into that, and then dip it into some breadcrumbs.
okay.
Then put it on the grill or the oven for a bit for it to brown off and cook, and then that's your Scotch egg.
Well, that doesn't really sound that bad. I'd give it a try.
But not the
But
steak and kidney pie.
oh no, because and that's something else, folks. See, I talked to James on Hangouts, the Hangouts chat. So he decides one day while I'm sitting there having lunch, he decides to go to Wikipedia and see what all the ingredients was for steak and kidney pie and send them to me. So yeah, I'm sitting there going, "Oh God," because it's like a kidney from either a pig or sheep, and I'm sitting there going like, "Oh God, nope." I'll stick with a steak.
Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of steak, I had a nice steak meal earlier.
Yeah, well, I actually have a few steaks downstairs that's actually in the freezer, so no kidneys.
It was actually steak and chips.
Okay, that's not bad at all. I mean, because I know what that is.
It was a ribeye steak.
Those are good. Those are definitely good. One of my favorite types of steaks. And I don't know if you guys got them up there or not, but they're filet mignon.
I don't know what that is.
It's a little bitty round piece of steak, and it's like the most tenderest steak that you can get. They're really expensive here, though.
Do you like your steaks like rare or medium rare?
I like mine a little pink on the inside, not, which there's a lot of people's like, just cut the horns off and cut a piece and send it my way. And I'm like, oh, that's a little bit too rare for me. But I mean, I like mine, medium, medium rare to medium well.
What would you use as like flavor for your meat? What would you add to it?
What,
Sauce?
like, okay, well, we have there's a ton of sauces you can get here. There's one sauce which is called A1 steak sauce. and which I like a lot because it's got kind of like a tangy type flavor to it.
Yeah.
And then there's Heinz 57 sauce, which it's all right, but still not as good as A1. My favorite is A1 steak sauce. So, and if
It's like a barbecue type sauce, is that what it is?
it's not actually barbecue, a barbecue sauce has got more of a sweet flavor to it.
Okay.
But some of the barbecue sauces I buy, a lot of people don't like because I buy the spicy hot barbecue sauce. And
We've got one viewer, so I should say just now that if you've got any questions for either of us, please let us know. We'd love to read out what you've got to say or what you want to, anything you'd like to ask. We'd love to read it.
Yep, and plus, learn something every time I talk to James. It's like today I found out what a Scotch egg is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't think they said it there, did they? I think it's like an English type of thing.
Yeah, I mean because I seen somebody eating them. I think on YouTube, and the people were English that was eating them. So I was like, I'll ask James.
Is there anything else that you've wanted to know from like English foods, and I can tell you what it is?
Well, the other night you explained it fine, but the one thing I had concerns about for a while was the spotted dick.
Yeah.
But luckily you explained it to me, and now I know it's not really, really bad with spots on it. So I was like, because somebody somewhere, this has been a long time ago. This was when I was still in school. Looked at me and went, but you ought to try spotted dick. I was like, what? So here I stand, here I am sitting in my chair doing my work, and this guy's, we're sitting there, we're talking about cakes.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, it's like, yeah, I love chocolate angel food cake. I love red velvet cake. Well, you ought to try spotted dick. I'm standing there going, what'd you say? So here I sit, getting my fist ready. I'm sitting there thinking, this guy is telling me something dirty, and I'm going to bust him in the head because, okay, well, yeah, all right. Let's put it this way, TV 14, I thought he was fixing to tell me to, do something with his personal part. So I was like, well, I'm fixing to break his nose. I'm fixing to race up here, and I'm going to bust him in the face as hard as I can. Tell me to try a spotted dick. I was like, and I think that I made him mad, or because he didn't talk to me for a while after that, because I told him to go kiss a cow's ass. Oh yeah, I mean, because he looked at me, you ought to try a spotted dick. I was looking at him, go, well, you ought to go kiss a cow in the ass then. So, and he looked at me really weird, and his face got red, and my face got red. So, then we went out of school, and we didn't talk to each other for like a month. Oh, yeah, I thought he was cussing me out. Meanwhile, in his mind, he's telling me about a cake, and then all of a sudden, this American dude just looked at him and told him to go kiss a cow's ass. Yeah, that's... So I will have to, but I'm glad you explained it to me, because when I come to England and I'm sitting at a restaurant eating, and some, waitress comes up, would you like to try some spotted dick? It'd be like, that's cake, right? Yeah, bring it on. But yeah, so anyway, I thought. But yeah, I thought for years, James, that people were telling me derogatory remarks.
Yeah, you can have spotted dick with like cream or custard. Or
Yeah, but,
chocolate sauce.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, well, that's the thing, though. He was like, you ought to try a spotted dick. It comes with a sauce. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding, you sicko.
Oh, I know of another. Actually, there's another dessert I'll tell you about. which I don't know. It might be in America, but I don't know. So I'll go ahead and ask it
Okay.
and say it. Usually around the 11th of June, which is my birthday,
Hmm.
I we go out for a meal, and I always have to have the same dessert every year because I like it.
Yeah.
Called profiteroles.
Confiteroles. Well, if you explain what it's got in it,
Yeah.
because right now, if I went outside and went, somebody bring me a confiterole, they'd probably send the ambulance and be like, he's gone to the insane asylum. Just, well, I mean, that's like another friend of mine on Facebook was actually English. And
Yeah.
we was talking on Facebook one night, and he's like, "What are you gonna eat?" And I was like, "I'm gonna go down and fix me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich." And then and then all of a sudden he put up the little smiley face, going with a question mark beside of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, peanut butter and jelly." What I didn't understand then is you guys call Jello jelly, and the jelly that here we call it, you guys call it jam.
Yeah.
So he actually thought I was going to go put Jello on my sandwich. Yeah, I'm like, no, no, no. I was like, it's a packed up fruit spread that you put on bread. He's like, oh, we call that jam. It's not jelly here. It's jam. I was like, okay. I was like, well, jam here. See, that's the thing is, jam here has chunks. It's like a preservative. Well, I know you don't know what that is. It's
I can say what I heard. The first ever thing I heard the word Jello on. You know in Ghostbusters 2 when they're coming along and the Museum of Art's covered over in the river of slime?
yes,
And Winston says, I think something like, when they come along the road and one says, someone says on the lines of Jello, and the other person says, oh, there's always room for Jello.
yep. And
Yeah.
see, that's the tagline here when they advertise Jello on TV. There's always room for Jello, and but yeah, but I guess the guy that I used to talk to never seen Ghostbuster because he actually thought I was gonna put Jello on my sandwich. I was like,
That might be nice.
you never know. I mean, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it might not.
yeah, but
I was like, yeah, profiteroles,
mhm,
spelled Profiteroles, I think.
okay,
It's, I guess you would say it was kind of like a Twinkie in a way, because like it's in the profiteroles like a circle. It's a
mm,
small circle,
yeah,
and it's like a small circle, like a cake circle, and
yeah,
inside is cream, and you have like 8 of these little balls with cream in,
okay.
and then you pour like chocolate sauce over it, and that's called a profiterole.
But it may have a funny name, but it sounds damn good.
Yeah.
I like to have one. I like to try one, but no, we don't have them in America. Um,
What I might have to do is sometime tomorrow. I'll have to like send you a picture or something of it.
yeah, well, I mean that's like the other day. You thought I was completely out of my head when you asked me what I was having for lunch, and told you what a euro was.
Yeah.
You remember and it's basically what people call it. It's a Greek taco.
Uh huh.
That's the only
Oh,
way.
actually, I when I went to America for the very first time, my brother was living in Sacramento at the time,
Yeah, California.
and went there. And there was like a Taco Bell there,
Mm-hmm.
and we went, and then we had. I think it was the first time we had a taco in the States.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, well, I think you guys are famous for like the fish tacos, right?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, a lot of people. There's a couple places, especially in the next town up, that that sell, the fish tacos, and I think you can even go in there and get blood pudding and all that stuff. And I'm like, no. So, like, if I go, like I told everybody else, well, now that I got you as a good friend here, I
Blood
can,
pudding.
yep, yeah, that you can actually eat blood pudding and blood sausage and everything. It's a actual English restaurant.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they sell everything that's English. So yeah, I might go back up there and be like, yeah, give me a Scotch egg and give me a profiterole. I'll be like,
um,
I know what that is. Bring it here.
I don't think you'd have it like time both together though, because one's a pudding and one's
Yeah, I know. That's because but yeah, you talking about? I think you told me what black pudding was,
yes, pink
and
as
I'm like,
blood with bits of fat inside.
yeah, like yeah, no, 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 no. And but that's you guys sound like you got some great desserts, but when it comes to liver and kidneys and all that stuff, everybody's like, oh yeah, well we'll make it into something that we can eat. I'm like,
Oh yeah, we also have chocolate brownie as well.
yeah, well that we have brownies here, chocolate brownies.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got brownies here, but the best, and I can't believe you guys don't have them, but the best, dessert to me is Twinkies.
Yeah, we still don't have them here. Actually, there's this one website called Cyber Candy. Now, it's where they import different sweets, candies, and different
Yeah,
things from around the world.
yeah.
Because they import it, you got to pay for quite a bit to pay for the product and for the delivery address. So I've not ordered on it because it is quite a lot to have try something from another country.
Hmm.
So that's why if I knew somebody from the States who was doing a trade or a swap or something, I'd ask them if maybe they could send me some.
Yeah, which as a matter of fact, that's like that one time which I should have bought a box, and I should have sent you a box of Twinkies.
Yeah, because I think at the time the company Hostess was going out of business, weren't they? They were.
Yeah, the company Hostess was going out of business, and
I think they're
me.
back now.
Yeah, they are back, but because there was millions and millions of American people writing letters every day saying, "What are you? Are you completely nuts?" And there was actually some guy in Texas, in the state of Texas, that owned oil fields that had billions and billions of dollars. He give them money to reopen again.
I got to tell you stories about Twinkies. I was looking on the Bob Pop Shop website for something I'd really want because at the moment it's so expensive and there's time to get that maybe sometime. But I was looking on other YouTubers' videos because I was just searching Bob's Pop Shop and seeing if there's any videos on showing off their
Yeah.
packs and doing unboxings of it and stuff. This one person actually, was just received it and did an unboxing of it. So, there was a lot of bubble wrap on it and everything. But one of the things that he took out, it was a bag, and inside it, the guy with Bob Pushel must have added it because Egon mentions Twinkies in the film.
Hmm.
So I think he added to this box one Twinkie and I think it was called Crunch Bar or something. So the actual package.
Yep. But yeah, that's one thing I can say. Twinkies have been around, here ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
And it's a really good dessert. And you said you had them when you've come and seen your brother and stuff. So Twinkies really pretty good.
They are.
And
I
the
like
only
the. I think you get like every now and again they do like a special edition with a different type of flavored cream inside.
yes, because actually now they made orange flavored cream Twinkies, and
Okay.
yeah, which were really good. And then when the movie Shrek came out, they actually made green cream Twinkies, which tasted like regular cream. It just had a green, look to it. And
Yeah.
on Halloween, I've seen them make purple or black Twinkies with orange or green cream inside of them.
Well,
Oh yeah,
it didn't taste like a flavor. It was just like the same flavor as normal cream, but just
yeah,
color.
yeah. And that's usually, I mean, if it's usually a black Twinkie, it's a chocolate flavored Twinkie. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Have you
which I
tried them
mean,
all? Have you like different flavors and stuff?
I've eaten quite a few Twinkies, and I mean, that's like, but me and you, that one night we was talking about trading, and we got on the subject of Twinkies, and you wrote me and you said we don't have Twinkies here. I
Yeah.
almost pulled my hair out. I was like, "What? He don't have Twinkies? We got to get him Twinkies." You know, we gotta send him Twinkies. The Twinkies are amazing.
Do you have any at the moment?
Unfortunately, I do not have any Twinkies at the moment, but next time I go shopping, I am going to pick up a box of Twinkies because now they're talking about it, I want a Twinkie. Yep, but yep, I'll take the.
Where's your local stores? Like when you go and do your shopping?
Well, I'm sure you guys got them too. You know, Walmart.
Yeah, here we call them Asda, but it's a part of the Walmart family here.
Yeah, okay, well, I mean, we've got which they sell. You know, they sell groceries, and the place that I usually go get groceries at is a place called Kroger.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I mean it's a huge grocery store, so and I mean, you know, you can get good quality stuff and it doesn't break your, doesn't break you from, so I mean, because there's a lot of places that's so expensive with food.
Is it local to you? Is it
Yes.
within distance or?
Yeah, well, it's about maybe a 10-minute drive, something like that.
Yeah.
It
Do
should
you
be.
drive or do you, like get the bus or?
I do have a license, which I do miss driving. I'll drive every once in a while, but I mean, me and my ex split,
Mhm.
and when we split, she wound up taking a car. So, but luckily, the apartment complex I live in, my uncle lives right down the street in the same apartment complex. He lives in number 10, and I live in 40.
Mhm.
So, I can just go down a little ways and I tell him I need to go to the store, and we'll hop in his vehicle and take off, and I'll go to the store.
That's
So,
cool.
yep. So, I mean, but I do really miss having a car, and of course, what you guys call the windscreen, we call the windshield.
Yeah.
What you guys call the boot is called the trunk here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yep.
Have you ever tried a deep fried Twinkie?
I've heard of people trying deep fried Twinkie, and I'm just sitting there going, that's just a huge heart attack waiting to happen,
Yeah.
because I mean, well, fried foods are bad for you anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, but they are good, so I try to stay away from them. But steaks, and there's also a dish that we have here called biscuits and gravy, which is kind of a country thing.
Biscuits and gravy.
Yes. Okay, but you're thinking cookies. But no, no, no. Okay, let's see. How do I explain it? Oh,
Oh.
it's a country thing from where I'm from, but and I guess it would go back to my roots, because in Ireland, I guess, because yes, actually, my mother, she's redheaded, and I am, when I let my beard grow out. I mean, yes, I got brown hair, but when my beard grows out, it grows out red if I let it
Yeah.
grow for a while. So yeah, mom was like, "Yeah, well, that's our Irish heritage," and I'm like, "You mean I'm from, we're from Ireland? We got part Irish in us, so."
You're
But
part Irish.
yes, partly, part Irish, part Native American Indian, and on my dad's side, German. So yeah,
You've got
so
a lot of different countries inside you.
yes, I do. I'm well, as people say, I'm a mutt.
What?
because
That's
because
what we call dogs here.
yeah, I know that's what we call them here too. But I mean, it's usually, a dog that's got 2 or 3 different breeds inside of him, we call a mutt. Oh yeah, I mean yeah. So I'm like everybody like, oh, you're a mutt. Yes, I am. But
I had a dog. I had a dog called a Cavalier King Charles.
really,
Yeah.
which I will tell you this too. One of my favorite dogs, I think everybody's like, oh, they're ugly. Well, they're so ugly, they're cute. Is a bulldog.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely love bulldog, and they're so nice and sweet. And I mean, it's probably the one dog I can look at and say, "Yeah, did you have you some spotted dick today?" And he'd probably understand what I was talking to him about. But no, but anyway, biscuits and gravy. Okay, you guys call cookies biscuits. We
Yeah.
call we call them cookies here. A biscuit here is basically it's like a piece of bread, and it's round and it's buttery, and you stick them in the oven and they bake up,
Hmm.
and you put those on a plate, put them on the table. Then you take you some white flour, put it in a pan, turn your heat on in the pan, then add your milk, and the milk makes the flour makes the milk thick.
Yeah.
You add some salt and pepper, and then you got like a kind of a thick liquid which we call gravy. There's a lot of people. It's like, well, there's 2 different kinds of gravy. There's the brown gravy that you put on turkey and mashed potatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah. We
But
put the brown gravy on our roast potatoes and our Sunday lunches.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's brown. We use it on turkey, and yeah, I'm sure it sounds good. Sounds good, roasted potatoes and brown gravy.
We call
But
it bisto here.
okay, but yeah, but there's 2 types of gravy where I'm from. There's country gravy, which is the white gravy that you make it with flour, and then there's brown gravy that you put on like turkey and your stuffing and your roasted potatoes. So yeah, that's where biscuits and gravy come from. And I mean, but yeah, and I mean, when you come down here and you're like, oh, give me some biscuits and tea. If you're talking to the wrong person, they're going to bring you a flaky bread type thing, and they're going to give it to you and like, here's your biscuit and tea. But I mean, if you come up to my house and you go, oh, yeah, make us some biscuits and tea, I'll bring you some cookies and tea. Because at least, I know.
Something I'll tell you.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, luckily,
I gotta tell you this.
but luckily, I know what a biscuit is.
When
So,
I went to America for the first time, I think it was when we first landed or on our way to my brother's flat, apartment when we stayed there.
yeah,
And I don't know, we was going somewhere, with had a cup of coffee or drink or something. And I said, I think there you call what you say chips is like crisps to us,
yes,
and we call chips to us is like fries,
yeah, because I mean, fish and
Yeah.
chips,
Yeah.
and yeah,
So at the time I went up to this counter and I said, "I fancy a packet of crisps," and I went up to him and said, uh, "Can I have a packet of crisps, please?" And I said, "What?"
yeah,
Oh,
but
and I had to think. I think I turned around to my brother at the time. I think they call them chips here. Try
yeah,
again.
yeah, because I mean, well, that's the thing. See, I didn't know what it was for a long time,
Mhm.
but then I started watching the History Channel and reading books and stuff like it. I mean, I always was fascinated by British culture and British history. I think it's really cool. I mean, because you guys are the only place in this world that actually have a king and queen and a castle. And I'm just like, well, that's pretty cool. So I started reading history books on the subject and everything like that. And I'm sitting there thinking, then I was coming across, the different kind of language. Well, I mean, we both speak English, but you guys call stuff that's to us you know, you might like biscuits. You guys call them biscuits. We call them cookies. And I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
When
So
we, when we there's this biscuit like called chocolate chip cookies, which we call cookies, but other biscuits we do call biscuits.
yeah, which I know what you're talking about because usually they give you Christmas time here. People will buy these little cookies and give them
Yeah,
to you for Christmas, and they're like buttery cookies and they're small. Which yeah, I'm like these are what they call biscuits in London.
yeah.
So I was like, yeah, these little bitty butter cookies and all those type cookies. Oh, yeah, they call them biscuits there. And so, yeah, if I was working that day and you actually come up and was like, give me a bag of crisp, I would have handed you a bag of potato chips. Because I know what you're talking about. As soon as I heard your accent and you asked for a bag of crisp, I'm like, yeah, what flavor?
Prawn cocktail.
Yeah, but
That's my favorite flavor.
my
um,
my favorite flavor of well crisps is probably cheddar cheese and sour cream and onion.
nice.
And barbecue. I like barbecue, of course. So
If you was in the UK, give me let's say five places you'd like to visit in the UK.
okay, Piccadilly Circus,
Hmm.
Whitechapel,
Yeah.
Parliament,
So where? Oh yeah.
Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me think here. I mm, well, I definitely want to see Big Ben. I think it's what you guys call the clock, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's it in London. Yeah.
Yeah, the Big Ben, and probably. Well, I definitely want to see, see the guys that stand out and guard like the castle where they can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely want to see one of those because I'd go up to him and go, since they can't move, so
I on Thursday this week I bought that movie that where Arnold Schwarzenegger is a robot with skin that ages.
Terminator Genesis.
Yeah, Terminator Genesis.
Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, well, that's from what I've seen of it, it seemed like it'd be a pretty good movie. I'll definitely have to, watch the rest of it. Which how I first seen it was my uncle actually went. It's been probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. He actually went and bought himself a PlayStation 3,
Hmm.
and it was actually used. So when he brought it back and hooked it up, there was all these movies on the system that somebody had downloaded to the system. So yeah, we actually watched a little bit of Terminator Genesis, but in the middle of it, I was like, "This is boring." So, I'll definitely have to give it a rewatch though.
Did you see the bit where Arnie fights himself in 1984?
Yep. And meanwhile, the whole time I'm sitting up there at my uncle's watching this, I'm sitting there going, like, what's going on? Which it made no sense to the original movie because spoilers. If Sarah Connor blew his head off, how was he in the first movie?
Yeah.
I mean, because at this time when this was taking place, the Terminator, the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, had just, come from the future and was looking for clothes to do his quest, looking for Sarah Connor to kill her. But if she blew his head off, how it just screwed up the movie. I was like, what the hell? So I mean, yeah, it's oh well, I guess.
Have you seen any of these scary movie series of films?
Yes, I've seen just about every single one of them. I haven't seen the last 2 or 3 new ones, but I like the first one a lot. I like the second one a lot. The second one's my favorite.
I want to get all caught and trapped in that haunted house.
Yeah, I seen the first one of that movie, but that's it. Because I think they made a haunted house and then a haunted house two,
Yeah.
which I've seen the second one. I've never seen the first one, so. But I mean, yeah, I mean the scary movies they're pretty good for what they are. But
Have you seen the comedy Scary Movie
yeah,
based on old horror films?
yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
The second one is my bound to be my favorite because it's just crazy. I love the Exorcist anyway, and when they started making fun of it in part
Oh, yeah.
two, yeah, I like that. So yeah, that
How
was
about the third one that has Leslie Nielsen in it?
Leslie Nielsen, where the aliens are all going around and peeing from their fingers. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. And, and then yes, spoilers, but yeah, I mean that's it. I think that was the one that had what's his what's his name is Leslie Nielsen and uh,
Anna Ferris?
the first one was all right, but I mean the second one and the third one were really funny. But I'm trying to think of the guy's name. It's Emilio Estevez's brother. Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the guy from Two and a Half Men.
Yeah, and I mean, but yeah, I really enjoyed the third one because everybody was going, the aliens were going around and peeing from their finger, and Leslie Nielsen was supposed to have been the president, and they was like, it's just absolutely weird they pee from their finger. Leslie Nielsen raises his finger up, starts peeing from it, goes, I do it all the time. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that part, although it made milk come out my nose when I was watching it because
What?
yeah, because I took a drink of
Sorry,
milk,
what did you say? Come on, nose.
milk, because I took a big drink of milk and started laughing at that point, and it just went. So yeah, I mean, because I mean Leslie Nielsen just looking at him like it's an everyday thing, held up his finger, started peeing from it. I'm just sitting there going, "Jeez."
What about him as Dracula? Do you like that film? Dracula did loving it.
Yeah, I absolutely love Leslie Nielsen films, and even think there was one where he actually was in England and he knocked out the queen and tried to pull her hair off.
No, what?
You know which one I'm talking about? I think it was the Loaded Gun 1.5 or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it was one of them where he actually punched the queen in the nose. She fell down, and then he grabbed a hold of her by the neck and was going to pulling her wig off. And his fellow,
Have you seen Dracula Dead and Loving It?
I've seen Dracula Dead and Loving It a few times actually.
You like
And
it?
yeah, well, the main part where he comes to the stairs and he turns into the bat, and then the woman standing there is looking up at him, and then she turns around and closes the door, and he runs into the door, and the bat falls down. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Also,
that
there's
was
this woman at the beginning where she holds her neck and makes a funny noise.
yeah, yep, that was a good one. Yep, but I definitely like that one. And then of course, I think we brought it up a couple weeks ago, the Ernest movies.
Yeah.
Yep, which you definitely got to see Ernest Scared Stupid. That's a good one.
I had the VHS, but I want to try and get the Blu-ray of it.
Yep, which one of the most memorable lines of that movie. How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And what is the stuff that they said? Want some miak?
Yeah, because okay, any normal person, sees that in the ancient scripture or whatever that he's reading from, it's milk.
Yeah.
I think the L has just been, erased or faded over time. So he goes around and goes, "That's it." And everybody's like, "What?" How to destroy a troll? You use authentic Bulgarian miak. You know, everybody's sitting there going, "What the hell is miak?" And then, all of a sudden, within 10 minutes or 15 minutes later into the movie, he pulls out this jar and goes, "Okay, booger breath, how about some miak?" And then the troll looks at him and goes, "Miak?"
Yeah.
And he says, "So yeah, that's." If you guys have not seen Ernest Scared Stupid, you're really missing out, because that's a really good movie.
But what
What
is
is
the
what is miak? I don't even know. Because everybody here, because when I was a kid and watched it, I was going around to my grandpa, my dad, and everybody, "What's miak?"
Yeah.
And everybody, and they was like, "I don't know." But I
Maybe
mean,
it's a tub of goo.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know what it was, but I mean, yeah, he's like, the key to destroying a troll is authentic Bulgarian miak.
I was authentic Bulgarian.
Bulgarian, I guess, might be a country somewhere. I don't know. It might be an ancient tribe from somewhere. I don't even know, but I mean, and then of course, the kid, leave it to the kid. Yogurt fell almost next to the troll's foot, and he looks down, and he takes off running. So he's like, "Milk!"
Yeah.
Oh, and Ernest was like, "Milk, milk, that's it."
And then I like also when they got to fill their water pistols with milk.
Mm-hmm.
And
Filled their
that's
water,
coming to the end of the movie, but I thought the ending was pretty good.
yeah, filled their water pistols with full of milk, and would get the little containers of milk that they used to give out in school, and would take them and open them and throw them at the troll.
I mean, the twirl itself, but that was pretty good. I mean, for the
Yeah.
the year, I guess, of the film being made in, it looked good.
Yep, man. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize that the person that played the troll was actually one of your home country fellows named Warwick Davis.
Was it?
Yes.
Because I thought he was the one, the guy, what he played in Star Wars: Return of the Jedi as well.
Yeah,
And
he played in Willow.
yeah, he
He
was
played
also
in
in.
Leprechaun.
Yeah, that's them.
Yep. Which I think his best role was Leprechaun. He made that character.
Yeah.
Yep, man.
I've seen
Everybody.
previews and clips, like on a countdown of horror movies.
Yeah,
And
you've
after
never.
seeing that for quite a while, I wanted to get the Leprechaun movies, but I haven't done so yet. But I think I might do soon after saying about him now. Yeah.
Yep, man. A lot of people don't even know. You know who Jennifer Aniston is, don't you?
Yeah, she used to be in the Friends TV show.
That was her first ever appearance on camera.
Was it?
Leprechaun, the original first Leprechaun that was made, was Jennifer Aniston's first movie.
Yeah.
Yep, and I mean, but yeah, I thought that, me personally, I like Warwick Davis as Leprechaun better than I do Chucky.
Hmm.
I just think that he's an English, gentleman, but I mean, he made the character completely Irish. So yeah, I mean, and that's a very talented actor that can have, a British accent, but can also sound Irish. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but I really didn't know it was him that was inside the troll or any of this.
Yes, it was actually Warwick Davis and a couple other people, I think, that had actually played, some of the, what do you call them, that was in Return of the Jedi.
Ewoks.
Yes, a couple of people also that played Ewoks was in Ernest Scared Stupid as a couple of the trolls. So
Do you have another favorite scene from Ernest? Scared Stupid.
my favorite scene, let's see, would probably be. I don't know if you remember. I don't know how long it's been since you watched the movie, but I remember it ever since I was a kid. Uh, they're walking through the forest, and they're looking for the tree house.
Hmm.
And Ernest is going up to different trees, and he's like, "This one looks pretty good." And he knocks on the tree, and it just falls over. Then he goes, then he goes to another one and says, "This one's a good one." And he looks up, and you hear a bird up in the tree, and all of a sudden, leading the suggestion of your mind, you see this white stuff fall all over, and his
It's
face.
not milk, guys.
No, it's not milk. So I mean, because he sits there, he's looking up, and he goes, "This one looks like a great one." And you know how he does, he's got his mouth hung open, and all of a sudden you hear a bird up in the air go, "Whack, whack," like that, and all of a sudden you see white crap just go all over inside of his head and his face. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yep,
That woman on it, the one that knew about trolls, that she looked quite spooky.
yep. And she's actually, well, I mean, before she did Ernest Scared Stupid, she's been in a ton of movies. I can't remember her name, but she's a really established actress. And you want to know a cool thing?
Yeah.
Ernest P. Worrell, who's AKA Jim Varney, was actually born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky.
Where you are?
Yep. Well, I'm right beside Lexington. I'm about 10, 15 minutes just outside of Lexington. I've been to his grave. Yep. His grave is actually, he's buried in Lexington. I've been to his grave a couple times. And, but I mean, yeah, he was actually a really established, he did, besides being Ernest, he was in a couple of episodes of the series Roseanne. I know Roseanne Barr, and
Yeah.
yeah, he was actually in a couple episodes of that where he was playing a millionaire, which he did really good at. And he was in the Beverly Hillbillies. Wasn't the TV show, it was the movie that they made off the Beverly Hillbillies. But he played.
There was a TV show based on Ernest called, was it Vern? Ernest and
Yes,
Vern?
yes, something like that. And he also, where he got his
I
start.
think it's called Hey Vern, it's Ernest.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, where he originally got his start from was he was just, he invented the character of Ernest because, they actually was talking to him one day. They said, "Are you an actor?" And Jim Varney said, "Yeah, I'm an actor." And he said, "Why?" He said, "Because we're wanting to do like a comedy type commercial for these businesses and stuff. They asked us to do it, and they want like the neighbor that everybody hates. The neighbor that's always nice to people and stuff, but every time he goes around, he causes more trouble than he does good." So, they started. So, Jim Varney went home and thought about it, and he came up with the character of Ernest P. Worrell. So,
What what did he die of? Do you know?
cancer?
Was it like a smoker or?
No, that's the surprising thing. He never smoked a day in his life. He smoked cigars like me, but there's a big difference. There's you're gonna hurt yourself if you wind up smoking a cigar and actually inhaling them.
Mm.
Because you smoke a cigarette a different way than you do a cigar.
Yeah.
Because a cigar is mainly meant for you to puff on and get the flavor. That's why I have grape.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, because every time I take a drink of water after I'm smoking a cigar, is my water and everything else tastes like grape. So yeah, I mean, leaves a pleasant taste, but he unfortunately he passed away from cancer, which a lot of people say that cancer's now is being linked to being inherited.
Okay.
If it's in your genes and stuff, and his mother and father both passed away from cancer, and I think even his grandfather did.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, but he's got, and it's really, really sad, James, because you can go to the man's grave site. There's no flowers. So there's kind of some weeds and stuff grew up around his grave. Every time I go visit his grave, I clean up his grave and give him flowers.
That's good though. Good.
Yeah, I mean, because I never did know him personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, the childhood I had of sitting there watching Ernest movies and him making me laugh constantly, the least I can do is bring him flowers.
Do you think that back when he died, if he lived a little longer, do you think he would have been able to have another Ernest film in him?
I think that if he was still been alive and if he was healthy,
Yeah,
I can almost bet that he would have come back and did another Ernest movie because I mean, it was the same deal with over the Terminator movies and over the Sylvester Stallone Rambo movies and the Rocky movies.
yeah,
Because they made Rambo one, First Blood, then Rambo Part Two, which was First Blood Part Two, then Rambo 3, and that was it. And that was it for like 20 years. And people were going, "We miss Rambo." So next thing you know, Sylvester Stallone says, "There's a new Rocky coming out, and there's a new Rambo coming out." Everybody's sitting there going, "Really?" Because it had been, and I think that's a good marketing idea because you got the fans starving for something new,
yeah.
of the same character to bring back. That's why me and you like nostalgia stuff because when we're watching this stuff, it brings back so much more memories. And then if they make a new one, you're sitting in the theater. Well, I was sitting in the theater watching Rambo. This is basically what I was doing. It started with a story and everything. They had these missionaries going to this different country to help them out, help the sick and stuff. Then you had this, guerrilla army come in and was going to shoot everybody there because they didn't want nobody to come in to help. I'm sitting there and Rambo hadn't even been introduced yet. I'm sitting there going, Rambo will kill them all. I'm sitting there going, wait till Rambo hears about it. He'll come in there with 27 bazookas and 14 bow and arrows, and he'll get rid of all of them. But it was cool because I was living my childhood, but it was a new movie.
What was the last Ernest movie that was released?
Well, now that's something that I do have to say. Back before he did get sick, real bad sick, he did make a couple of movies, Ernest movies, that kind of, fell to the wayside because he was making the Ernest movies when they were popular. Ernest goes to camp, Ernest goes to jail, Ernest Scared Stupid, and Ernest Saves Christmas were all produced and distributed by Polygram, which is a diversion of which used to be a division of Disney.
Okay.
They owned the company Polygram, like I said, and I think they owned the Weinstein Company production company for a while, where they were, like I was saying earlier, where they release R-rated movies. They owned the company, Disney owned the company, but they kept the Weinstein logo and the Polygram logo, so nobody, would pop in, say, a movie with, say, guys with a bunch of guns and a gang movie, and say Walt Disney Presents. So they figured that was bad for business, so they had a couple production companies that they kept a different name for. But Ernest released a movie called Ernest in the Army.
I think I remember that one.
Yep, and there was one I think that was Ernest Goes to School,
Hmm.
and then the last one that I think that he ever made before he completely was
I
done with
think
Ernest.
I think it was called Ernest Strikes Again.
Yes, and which really, which I'd seen it. Actually watched it on YouTube because they had a couple of Ernest movies on YouTube, the last ones that he did. And I mean, it just didn't, the whole story and plot just didn't fit the character of Ernest at all. Because I
No.
mean, it was basically a movie about this ancient, canon, and with Ernest just in it for fun. It's just I didn't understand it at all. You know,
Do you? What's your favorite bit in Ernest Goes to Jail?
probably where he's in jail. Ernest is now in jail. It's like in the middle of the movie, and all of a sudden, the one guy's like, "Well, you got to learn to be whoever the main character was. The guy that looked like Ernest who escaped. So Ernest in jail had to act like that guy. So he was like." you got to learn to act like him. So he does all these characters and all these voices. That was my favorite part of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of Ernest Goes to Jail, and I also liked the part where he took like 14 bars of soap and made a machine gun
Yeah.
and painted it black, and he's standing there at the at the big, steel doors in jail. He's going, hey yo, Screw, come here. And of course, the guard walks over there, and the guard's like, what do you want, Nash? And as soon as he's like, let me out of here or I'll have to waste you. And as soon as he said that, the gun barrel went, it looked like rubber. Yeah, I like that part a lot.
I also love the bit when he like breaks out of jail, when they take him to the
Yes.
the electric chair,
Yes.
and instead of being killed by it, it infuses him with like some electrical powers.
Yes.
I like how he goes pointing at a certain stuff trying to break out the jail. That was good.
Yeah, that was really cool because he walks out of jail and he's got a stapler on the side of his head and he's got all these paper clips and he's going, I am Electro Man. That was a good.
You know the guy that not impersonator, it's double.
Yeah.
His life on the outside, because he played two parts, Jim Varney, in this movie, so he played Nash as well.
Yep. And
so he breaks out of jail and goes to the bank.
Yes.
And tries to capture him, and how I don't know what happens. I think he must. Oh yeah, he gets infused by the power again. He sort of goes up and away and takes the bomb because one of his friends was tied up by the bomb.
Yep.
He comes back down falling, completely burned, knocks the other one out. Is that exactly he's playing? And then when he stands up, he says some words. Back at him, what they are. I came.
I saw. I got blowed up. It's because it was actually a line from a classic movie. I forget which one it was, but I think it was a movie that was directed by Cecil B. DeMille in like the 30s or 40s. And the main character of that movie said, I came, I saw, and I conquered. Yeah. And of course, Ernest's version, he said, I came, I saw, I got blowed up. Yeah.
I like also this where he's just floating as well, and then the other one is double, sort of tries and pulls his legs around.
Yep, and there's also I always loved when he get burned.
Yeah.
Because he was, let's see, I forget which, it might have been Ernest Goes to Camp or Ernest Saves Christmas. But he's standing there and he's talking to this one person, and the grill is going on, and he's, he's making pancakes, and all of a sudden, he puts his hands on the grill, and you can hear it go, and he just like that, and he goes, you know what I like on my pancakes? And they're like, no, what? Butter. He sticks his hands in the butter and starts rubbing it on his hands. He's like, lots and lots of butter. Of course, because his hands are actually on fire. So he's like, butter, good, cool butter all over him. You know what I'm talking about.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like another good part in Ernest Goes to Jail is he's at the restaurant and she's talking to him, and somehow somebody knocks over a lobster thing, and he thing like that, and he takes it off, and the lobster's
someone else. He's trying, it's before he goes to the bank woman, and he tries to get ready. He gets inside the sort of washing machine.
Yeah.
And he presses the button, and his dog, Rimshot, is looking at him, and he's just like spinning around.
And the dog is sitting there going,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I always liked that part. And then another good part's where he's actually in the jury.
Yeah, exactly. Let me say this. I'm sure I know what you mean. Hang on. He
And
was there eating the pen in his mouth.
yeah, he's sitting there listening to all this story. This
The
guy
ink
went up
was
to
running
this.
down his face.
Yeah, he's like, this man. You order. You order. Make sure you find him guilty. And Ernest sitting there go, and all of a sudden he starts sitting there, and the judge is talking. He's like, and then all of a sudden. And all of a sudden, you see this black ink dripping down his face. So, what's the genius that Ernest does? He rips off a piece of paper that he's writing on and sticks it in his mouth, chewing on it. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there the whole time and I'm laughing so hard my breath is gone. I'm laying down laughing, and he's sitting there and he keeps chewing on this paper. And the judge went, "Are you all right, sir?" He's like, "I'm fine, thank you." And he's got ink all over him.
He's fine. I love the song tonight. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, the ink is all over his face.
I'll go quickly grab the Blu-ray I got just to show you the cover.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay, take your time, James.
Hiya.
All right.
Yeah. I was trying to think of another bit then. Yeah, because he's so excited to get like Dewey duty,
Yeah.
and he gets his like the friends he has in that movie has been in a lot of his other Ernest films as well.
Yeah, the
Bobby and
yeah, I can't remember the other one's name, but yeah,
Dr. Bob.
yes. But yeah, I mean they were
the big guy in it, and the one that's really thin.
Yep. And I mean that's the only one I think Bobby wasn't in was actually Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yeah.
I know that the big guy was in Ernest Goes to Camp because he's like, "Yeah, Ernest, we want you to try our invention, eggs erroneous." He's like, "No."
I think they were both in Ernest Saves Christmas as well.
Yes, they were both in Ernest Saves Christmas and Ernest Goes to Jail. I think, and the skinny one was in Ernest Scared Stupid, but the big guy wasn't in.
Okay. Anyway, it's the movie of the version I got of the.
Yep, and I actually
face like that.
Yeah, which I'm surprised he didn't look at the guard standing there and go, "Is that a rabbit over there?"
And here's the pictures on the back.
Yep, but I never will forget that poster because back when that first came out, like 88, 89, I actually went to the drive-in and watched that as a little kid.
Yeah. The drive-in?
Yes, the drive-in. So it's been, you know what a drive-in is, don't you?
Yeah, there's the cinemas where you can watch the movie and the sign comes through the radio station.
Yep, so yeah, I actually that's when America had drive-ins, because
the synopsis on the back of this version. Bank janitor Ernest P. Worrell is called to jury duty and soon finds himself in trouble when the look-alike defendant's attorney arranges a switch and has Ernest sent to prison in his client's place. While Ernest struggles to deal with prison life, his criminal double decides to use Ernest's job at the bank as an opportunity to rob it. Will Ernest be able to break out of prison in time to stop the robbery and expose the mix-up. This was bought on Amazon UK. It's not on Amazon. Amazon.com is because this is the US one.
Because it's fiction to say, yeah, that's the US poster.
Yeah, and this was I went on to Blu-ray.com first to make sure it played on my player.
Yeah.
Because it says Region A on here. It's actually Region O. So thankfully I was able to play it. So glad I got this one. But I do want to get some of the other movies because I really do love these. A lot of fun, a lot of nostalgia. And like we were just talking about the movie, the other ones as well. It's a lot of memories as well. Even just talking about them, then you just remember them straight away. So
yeah, that's like when he's sitting there and he's having trouble with his pen. It's all over his face, and they sit there and go, "Well, we're going to go actually, see the prison and talk to a couple people at the prison." So you can see what kind of person, this guy that hung around with these guys were. Ernest is sitting there and he looks at the other guy, ink dripping off his face and chin. He goes, "Oh boy, a field trip."
Yeah.
Yeah, oh boy, a field trip.
I also like the bit, when they're outside or walking to a certain location and the double is sort of spying and they go, "Psst, psst. you, psst, come on, over here." Psst.
Yeah,
and then he's like behind a building, and then Ernest, wonders why it worked, wonder why it is, goes to where the sound's coming from. Somebody behind him knocks him out, takes off his clothes, switches it with the Mr. Nash one.
Yep.
Then Ernest comes to. Then he sort of goes to the location where I guess the other prisoners are going. And of course Nash is as Ernest now, and then goes to his life as Ernest.
Yeah, but I remember that part because it was actually Mr. Nash that was going, "Psst, psst," and every time that Mr. Nash would do that, Ernest was like, he was standing over there making sure his face was still on because the guy looks just like him going, "Psst." He's like, "Me?" But, "Psst." Then, of course, you got the actor who's named Randall Tex Cobb. He used to be a professional boxer. Hit him in the back of the head, and that's it.
It's 11:23. I'll have to go about 11:30.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
It's been a good time, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. But yes, guys, anybody that watches this later on when James puts it up, definitely check out some old Ernest movies. You won't regret it.
And if you've seen them and you grew up watching them, see them again.
And in the comments, like we was talking about just a minute ago, in the comments, let us know what your favorite part is.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know which Ernest movie you love the best and which part you love the best because, me and James have seen all of them. So yeah.
I'll tell you what part I like of Ernest Goes to School because it was back probably when I rented this on VHS from the old video stores.
Yep.
But I think it was like he has some sort of brain update or something.
Yeah.
Like he goes through his locker in the school. There's like a hole in the back. And those two guys, I think, that was in the first Ernest Goes to School. The ones who play his friends. Like upgrade his mind. He has glasses on his face, and he's like acting all upgraded and intelligent. It's funny.
Yeah, and that's also Ernest Goes to the Army. There was a great scene where they're all out in the field, and the cook is making pancakes. Of course, Ernest and his pancakes. Well, by accident, Ernest knocks over a thing of concrete mix, and it goes into the pancake batter. So, needless to say, the only one that can eat them, and while everybody else is sitting there, and they show one guy try to take a bite of the pancake, and he pulls it out, and there's 2 teeth stuck on the pancake. And Ernest is sitting there, going. Oh yeah, I mean, he's sitting there and he looks at the cook and he goes, "Why did you make the pancakes so crunchy? But they're good though." You know what I mean? He's all you can, and I mean, it sounds like his whole mouth is full of rocks. You know, he's like, everybody else, their teeth are stuck to the pancakes.
I hope I don't eat any pancakes like that.
Nope, and then of course, if you burn your hands, you like your pancakes with nice, cool butter.
I'm trying to think what movie that scene's from.
I'm
With the
thinking,
butter and the pancakes.
I'm thinking it was actually Ernest Saves Christmas because if you remember, if you've seen the film, if you remember, there was the runaway girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Ernest finds her. She jumps in Ernest's cab, and he finds out that she has no place to go, so he takes her to his place. It's the next morning. He
And then
decides,
he goes for pancakes, yeah.
yeah, and then the next morning he's like, "Do you like pancakes?" And he's taking his spatula, taking the pancake, go, and they just go up, and they stick to the ceiling, and so he's sitting there and he's like, and then all of a sudden she's talking about something, then he says, "Well, tell me more about it," and he's like, ah. And he's like, "You know what I like with my pancakes?" She's like, "What?" "Good, cool, huge amounts of butter. Lots of butter."
Yeah, I do have Ernest Saves Christmas. It's on VHS here.
Yep,
Yes,
yeah,
the VHS one.
that's another thing. If you get a chance, rewatch Ernest Goes to Jail, and you'll see him sitting there buttering his bread, and he butters his finger too.
Yeah.
He takes the butter and just butters his hand and his whole hand in the bread too.
I like how he puts his hand to try and get the butter off his hand onto the bread.
Yeah, he's like,
It's because the knife and forks are going to stick on him as well.
yes, that's right. Because at the first of the film, he got electrocuted some way. And thank you for reminding me of that. That's why the lobster in the Big Ten came to his head.
Yeah.
Because he became magnetized. Because the fork and the knife went here and here, and he just looks at the deities with it, goes, and takes the bread, takes his finger, puts it in the butter, starts buttering the bread, his hand, everything else. He's like, and then all of a sudden, the lobster table starts moving. And before you know it, it's like, boom.
There's also the other bit that when it first happened, when he makes mess in the bank at the beginning when he's doing the vacuuming.
Yeah.
He he ends up in the storage room or something, and he gets electrocuted again.
Yes.
He gets up, and these two filing cabinets are following him around.
Yeah, the filing cabinets are following him around, and he's running, and they finally get him though. Yeah, but yep, always. Yeah, check out, if you guys are watching, check out Ernest Goes to Jail, because he came, he saw, he got blowed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also the liquid comes out of that dryer thing the machine is using.
Yeah. He brushes his teeth. It's like a football helmet. He puts the toothpaste on like 7 toothbrushes, puts it in his mouth, and all of a sudden he's like, "All right, yeah, this is an invention I made." And he puts it in his mouth. He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic comedy.
I mean, they did make a good lot of them. I mean, if I can get all of them, it'd be good to watch them all again. I can maybe one go across a whole week or something. But that would be cool.
Yeah.
But,
yep. I like to get them myself again.
I got that one on Amazon in the US. I think it's a pretty good price there.
I definitely have to check it out. As a matter of fact, I think my girlfriend has Goes to Camp and Goes to Jail and Scared Stupid. I think she got 3 of them in a box set. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, this one on Blu-ray for being HD. The 1080p high definition is great on here.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a classic film. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
So I recommend the Blu-ray or even the DVD if you manage to get the DVD. But really nice on this.
Yeah, but yeah, that lobster pan comes, sticks to his face. He finally gets the lid off, and he's like, "I guess I'll have the lobster." He's got the lobster stuck to his face. He's like, "I'll recommend the lobster."
I mean, it's his laugh like that as well. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. I am so saddened that he passed away and can't make more movies. I mean, because he was a great actor.
Yeah. He's still very missed, especially when I watch these sort of movies again.
Yeah, and I mean, I tell you somebody else who's very, very missed, and I can't believe, I still can't believe it, but I mean, Mr. Gunnar Hansen, who played, Leatherface in the original.
Yeah.
Hard to believe that, we lost him last year, right after Thanksgiving or right before Thanksgiving. So, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many great, actors and stuff that we've lost here recently. I mean, Professor Snape in the Harry Potter series, which he was also where I first found out about him was he was actually in an old Bruce Willis movie called Die Hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is where I'd first seen him from. But
I mean, the old classic characters, like you said, that one, Gunnar Hansen. I guess a lot of other, horror actors who've sadly passed.
well, let's see,
Sorry?
Larry Drake. He was in a bunch of movies. And of course, I think that the ones that really hit a lot of people was, of course, Betsy Palmer, who was in Friday the 13th, the original. We lost her a couple years ago. And also,
I'll tell you who I was quite sad to see go was Harold Ramis as well.
yes, me too. It's absolutely a shame that we lost Harold Ramis. And
he was my favorite Ghostbuster, so.
Yep, and because I always liked him too. Because I mean, he was the quiet one, but could be funny as he could be when he'd talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
horror stars like you said just now, Harold Ramis, and this guy here.
Yeah, and I mean, well, that's
you got more in there. You can still watch them and still enjoy their work through their work they've done, but that's pretty much it. You can still enjoy their movies or their TV shows or what other work they've done.
Yep, and I mean, well, right besides Ernest, I mean, Jim Varney as an actor. One of my all-time favorite comedy actors was actually John Candy.
Yeah.
I loved John Candy, and I also, back in the 80s with the 80s comedy, early 90s comedy was Steve Martin as well.
Yeah, I know Steve Martin.
But my all-time...
John Candy, I saw him in... the one-off classic film I saw him was Uncle Buck.
Yes, and one of my favorite scenes of that movie was where the clown came for his nephew's birthday, and the clown showed up drunk, and John Candy looks at him and goes, "Get in your mouse and get out of here," because he drove a VW, Volkswagen Bug that looked like a mouse. So yeah, John Candy was like, "Walk away."
There's a movie called Stitches.
It's actually on my Netflix watch list.
Yeah.
So I will definitely probably check that out sometime within this month. I mean, now that
it's an Irish killer clown movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a killer zombie clown or something like that.
Yeah, he comes back to life. So.
Yep.
Good one.
Yep. I'll definitely check that out. And also, I keep meaning to. I apologize to the viewers and stuff who's been looking for the review of Let Me In and Let the Right One In. I promise that review is coming. Like I said, I've been sick, and also I just lost, my aunt. So just give me some time, guys, and I'll review The Hood in more detail, and I'll review the movies, and also be doing a package opening this Tuesday. Uh, Hopefully, if my mail carrier gets here on time, and also when James sends out the package and it gets here, I will open it, and I will be making a video of that as well. So you guys stay tuned, and also in that video, I will be linking James' channel so you can check him out, and I'll also be mentioning the live chats we do. So from now on, every time you'll see a video, it'll have my channel and James' channel linked together.
Yeah. What about next week?
Next week should be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, luckily, I haven't been, I feel better. So, and I mean, like I said, my aunt was buried Friday, so everything should work out fine because I'd have nothing planned on Saturday next week. So
I'll talk to you on the Google pop-up thing, the on the email account.
yeah, Google Chats. That sounds fine with me.
Maybe one day in the week I'll do a quick little private video call if you like as well.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fine. I mean, like I said, but I have nothing planned on Saturday, so we should be good Saturday. And as a matter of fact, I have nothing planned this whole week. So
you do maybe a private one on the email on the Google chats on maybe during the week, maybe a short little one, and then back with this live one next Saturday.
Yeah, and also I'm gonna try to make a video because later tonight I'm gonna be watching the classic alien abduction movie. Actually, when I get back from shopping with my uncle, called Fire in the Sky. That's based on a real alien abduction. So I'll be watching that tonight. That's one of the very first DVDs I've watched since I've been to the convention. So yeah, so I'll be definitely doing a review of that one. But anyway, guys, since James has to go, I'll tell you guys goodbye and good night. And if you have any questions, let us know.
Yeah, Eugene will be sure to reply to your comments as well tomorrow if he sees them on there. So if we don't have no questions tonight, guys, but please, ask some, put some comments on the video afterwards, and either me or Eugene will reply to them. So this is going to be it now from us until next time. Hope you enjoyed this episode. So until next time, guys, goodbye and take care.